As we say goodbye to 2024, we welcome in a new year filled with some new and returning shows that will hopefully bring the goods to our television screens in 2025. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you all my top 10 most anticipated shows of the year. But before we get into my list, let me know your top 10 most anticipated shows of the new year. What new show, what returning show, and also let's have some fun. What do you think will be the most talked about show of the end of the year? And also from Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, HBO, who's going to have the best streaming shows of the year? Let's have those fun discussions in the comments below. Let's get right into my list. Coming in at my number 10 is Invincible Season 3. Now, after what some would say was a somewhat disappointing season 2, especially after the gap between seasons 1 and 2 and also splitting the seasons into 2 parts, we are back, and based off that first trailer, things are looking better than ever. Listen, man, I haven't read the comics. I have just been watching shows and I have been a big fan. And even though, like I mentioned, some people were disappointed by season 2, I enjoyed what we got, but it wasn't as good as season 1. But from everyone I know that has read the comics are telling me that season 3 is a taking off point. Like, this is what things are starting to get real. Based on what I've heard and based on the trailer, we're going to get more training from Mark. He's going to be working harder than ever based off his confrontation with the Viltrumites in season 2. I've been hearing for years about this badass by the name of Conquest, who will be apparently making an appearance in this new season. And of course, we have Omni-Man and Alan trying to escape the prison. I mean, we see Mark gets his new suit. We see little Oliver's growing up. And listen, I'm hearing that there may be something called the Invincible War coming. I don't know what that is, but it sounds epic. It sounds awesome. I love what we saw from that trailer. And we got Mark going ham. I'm tired of Mark getting his ass beat. It's time for him to start, starting to fight and finishing fights. And it look like that might be the season to do so. So we don't have to wait too much longer. It's dropping on my birthday. So hopefully it's a good birthday wish. And there's no splitting of the seasons. It's all one season. I'm looking forward to Invincible Season 3. I think it's going to be great. Coming in my number 9 is Alien Earth, written and directed by Noah Hawley. Now, this series will serve as a prequel and will be set 2 years before the events of 1979 Alien. Now, the synopsis of the series is, when a mysterious space vessel crash lands on Earth, a young woman and a ragtag group of tactical soldiers make a fateful discovery that puts them face to face with the planet's greatest threat. Look, man, I'm a big Alien fan, and I love what we got in the big screen with Alien Romulus last year, and I'm really looking forward to seeing this new series. It's going to take place right around the time of the first Alien, so that's going to be interesting as far as the timeline is concerned, and also an alien on Earth. Like, what? I mean, we saw that with Alien, the Alien vs. Predator films, but like not in the alien world, so that's going to be really interesting to kind of see aliens on Earth. And my biggest selling point of this entire project is Noah Hawley. Noah Hawley is one of my favorite TV writers. He's done film, but he's mostly like shine in the TV realm. If you guys aren't familiar with his work, Fargo's I think he's done, was it 5 seasons of Fargo? I have to catch up with the latest season, but Fargo's an incredible TV. One of my favorite comic book shows of all time is Legion. The man's a genius. So the intellect, the sci-fi, the franchise that I love, I'm hopeful that Alien Earth will be great because it has all the makings to be something great. So we'll see what Noah Hawley has in store for us later this year. Now, coming in my number 8 is season 2 of Peacemaker. Now, of course, this is set in the DCU and will serve as a soft reboot of sorts. Of course, we know that this is going to be taking some elements of season 1 of Peacemaker and also some events from the Suicide Squad. For example, we know Rick Flag Jr. died in that show, and Rick Flag Sr. is going to be getting his vengeance for his son in this show. So I'm hyped, man, because season 1 of Peacemaker was one of my favorite shows when it dropped in 2022, I want to say, and it had all the laughs. Of course, we knew that was going to be the case with James Gunn writing and directing 3 or 4 of the episodes. John Cena, I think this is his best role today. Like, he is so great as Peacemaker. I love the group that we have in the show, and I'm curious to know like how this is going to work in regards to taking some things from season 1, taking elements from the Suicide Squad. Obviously, again, I mentioned Rick Flag and the events that happened in that film and what he did in Suicide Squad to Rick Flag Jr., but then the Amanda Waller of it all, Creature Commandos of it all, and what's going to happen with the finale of that. So I'm intrigued, man, but if anything, I put my faith in James. I think he's going to do right by these characters and continue the momentum from season 1 and hopefully giving us a season 2 that might be even better than the first amazing season. Coming in at my number 7 is The White Lotus season 3. Now this time around, we are set in Thailand and we have some returning characters who we haven't seen since season 1, but we also have some newcomers, which looks to be an amazing cast. Leslie Bibb, we have Jason Isaac, Michelle Monaghan, Carrie Coon, Parker Posey, Walter Goggins, and many more. My goodness, that's one thing I love about, many things I love about White Lotus, but the cast, I love how they bring these great actors. Walter Goggins is so great. I am such a big Carrie Coon fan, like Leftovers, any fans out there? One of the best shows of all time, but I like this cast. I like that we're bringing Natasha back from season 1. Really excited to see what this season's all about. Like, if it's one thing about this show, it's always a great murder mystery, some great drama, rich people get into some nonsense. Like, I am really looking forward to this show. Like, I've covered the first 2 seasons on my channel. I will definitely be covering season 3, and hopefully it's better than the first 2, because the first 2 have been excellent, and I'm thinking season 3 might be the best one yet. Now, coming in at my number 6 is The Last of Us season 2. Now, season 2 will be based on the 2020 video game The Last of Us Part 2, and will follow Joel and Ellie 5 years after the events of the first season, and will introduce a character by the name of Abby. Look, man, I am really looking forward to the second season, and unfortunately for me, I remember 2020, I haven't played the game, but I almost know damn near everything about what's going to happen. I won't spoil it, and please, if you played the game, if you know what's going to happen, please don't spoil it, people. But I remember the discourse for 5 years now when that game came out and how negative that was, and I am just very intrigued to see how the show handles a certain event. And putting that aside, I am really excited to see just the return of these characters. As you know, it's been a couple years since we saw them, and I love the cast. I am really excited to see Caitlin Devers, who's going to be playing Abby, who, again, if you're familiar with the game, very different type of body type, so I'm really curious to know how Abby's going to function in the show, especially after certain events or what happens in this new season. But I'm hopeful, man. Like, that trailer looked great with the little teaser that we got. They haven't released a full trailer quite yet, but I'm sure it's going to be great. But I'm looking forward to season 2, and I'm really intrigued to see what the conversation is going to be based on certain events that happens in the second game and in the second season. So here's the wishing. All right, y'all, those are my 6 through 10. And before we get into my top 5, I want to take the time to thank you all for making it to this point in the video. If you're enjoying yourself so far, and if you're liking my list, hit the thumbs up. Consider sharing this video to anyone and everyone you know that loves talking TV just as much as we do. And also, if this is your first time here, hope you're having a good time. Consider sticking around by subscribing to the channel. With all that being said, let's get into my top 5. Coming in my number 5 is It, Welcome to Derry. Now, this is developed by Andy Muschietti and Barbara Muschietti and based on Stephen King's 1986 novel It, and it will serve as a prequel to the films of 2017 It, as well as It Chapter 2 in 2019. Now, the show will star Giovanna Depo, Chris Schalk, Taylor Page, and of course, it's going to bring back Bill Skarsgård reprising his role as It, aka Pennywise. As the show will explore the origins of Pennywise the Clown and the sinister events that have plagued the town of Derry, Maine in the 1960s. All right, I am very much looking forward to this show, man. We got Andy Muschietti, the director of It 1 and 2. We got Bill Skarsgård coming back in the role, and I'm very curious to know how much Bill Skarsgård will be in this show. Like, I know he just had an interview saying that it's going to be some cool things they're doing. It's going to be very violent, which I'm here for, but it is a TV show, and Bill Skarsgård is becoming a big movie star, and his schedule is, just in Nosferatu. He's probably getting calls off the hook now after doing that role. So obviously he filmed this now, but I'm just very curious on like how much of Pennywise we're going to see in the series, because I know from the prequel he takes on different forms, so he might not be the dancing clown throughout the series. He might play other various different versions of the entity that is Pennywise. So very curious about that. I like the cast. I like that they're bringing Andy back, who I think is directing 3 or 4 of the 7 or 8 episodes. So HBO, Pennywise, horror, Andy Muschietti. it's checking off all the boxes, y'all. So I'm looking forward to the first full trailer, and I really do hope to learn more about the plague of this town. Like, what is the secrets? Why are these people keeping this secret, and why is it dairy? So I'm really, really looking forward to the show, and I'm hoping that it's just as great as It Chapter 1, and it's going to be better than It Chapter 2, because that wasn't a good movie. But I am looking forward to this It series, and hopefully it's something that we can all talk about at the end of the year being something great. Coming in my number 4 is Season 4 of The Bear. Now, after leaving us on a cliffhanger, we got to figure out what's going to happen after that Chicago Tribune review. What's Sydney's decision going to be? Is she going to leave? Is she going to go? What's going on with Carmy and his relationship with Claire? What's going on with Richie and his ex-wife? Is he going to go to the wedding? Tina has her struggles. Marcus has to make us a dessert. It's a lot of questions to be answered. Now, I talked about The Bear Season 3. It did make my top 10 favorite shows of last year, but it wasn't my favorite season of the three, I should say. But I'm looking forward to it because I think Season 3 was a setup for hopefully some great payoffs in Season 4. How's the review going to be? Are they going to get a good review? Because if the review's bad, Uncle already told Carmy, review, if it's bad, I'm throwing away this business, man. Like, we got to bring in good reviews and to keep this business afloat. Again, everything going on with Sydney, like, if she leaves, I don't know how Carmy's going to react to that. And speaking of reaction, like, what's going on with Claire, Carm? Are we going to figure things out, man, for we can stop thinking about her all the damn time and just apologize to her? But no, I'm really looking forward to this show. It's such a beautiful show. I love that it's like high art, but it's also very relatable with these characters. So I'm looking forward to, again, Season 3 was the weakest of the 3, but I hope that it's setting up a phenomenal Season 4 of The Bear, which is one of the best shows on television. Coming in at my number 3 is Daredevil Born Again, aka Season 4 of the Netflix Daredevil. Look, man, I'm going to give all the credit in the world to Marvel Studios, MCU, Kevin Feige, and the people that be. When they shot that first round of the show and hearing all the stuff of the shenanigans that was going on behind the scene, Charlie Cox is barely going to be in the outfit. It's going to be more in the courtroom and less about the act. Like, what were they smoking? Anyway, I don't condone people losing their jobs, but hopefully those people has bounced back. But I'm glad they were let go from the project, and we have the same creators that brought us wonderful projects like Low Key, and they were responsible for some other great movies. So I'm really looking forward to see the creatives behind the scene. But more importantly, like I said, this is Season 4 of Daredevil from Netflix, one of the best Marvel projects to date. Like, I am so excited about this series. I'm vaguely familiar with the Born Again comic book run, and they had elements of Born Again within the Netflix series, especially in the last season, but really excited to dive deep into the series. And we got Charlie Cox. We got John Berthold. We have my man, Vincent D'Onofrio, who's going to be running for mayor. If you've seen Echo, they kind of set that up there, which was not the best show, but neither here nor there. Vanessa's coming back. We got Bullseye coming back. We have so many things to look forward to. The White Tiger. Listen, man. If this show, it's in the MCU, y'all, and there's another character that resides in New York. If Peter Parker somehow finds his way into this show, it's going to be the greatest show of all time. Listen, and also, Hell's Kitchen's not too far from New Jersey, and they already showed that it's Marvel's dad's in the show. So, not that it has to have a bunch of cameos, but I would be intrigued to see how they incorporate the other MCU characters. And She-Hulk, is she going to make an appearance? Nonetheless, putting all that aside, we got Daredevil, we got Kingpin clashing for power, and they got this vigilante killing people. I am so hyped. I hope that this is on par with the Netflix series. Apparently, this is violent, the most violent thing that Marvel has made. We'll see how that comes to be, but I'm ready to be born again, and I hope that this is a fantastic return for the man in red and also Vanessa. Coming in my number 2 is Season 2 of Severance. As we watch Mark grappling with the revelations of finding out that his deceased wife is alive, as well as finding out the secrets of Lumen. Look, man, I have yet to watch the teaser trailer. I haven't watched the full trailer. I am just trying to avoid all this where I can just watch this show and just be locked in. I will never forget covering Season 1, how fantastic of a season that was, how the mystery, the performances, the story, the levity, the comedy, the drama, all the stuff the show had. It was one of the best shows of that year, and I'm so happy to be back, man. It's been a while. And I was following this show throughout the entire time of its making, and there was some, behind the scenes issues with writers clashing with the directors, and Ben Stiller's the showrunner or the executive producer, and he was clashing with some of the people that had on. They had to let people go and bring people in and rewrite the script. But I'm hoping that all that behind the scenes work, they say it takes a miracle to make some of the great stuff that we see on television and in film. So hopefully all the drama makes something great for a great season 2, because man, that first season was so fantastic, and using the movie terms, a great original movie. If we can get a great sequel, it's just going to make my heart happy. And again, expect coverage. We're going to be covering the hell out of that show when it drops, as I'm recording this, just in a couple weeks. So who's ready to let out your innies and your outies and figure out the secrets of Lumen in Severance Season 2? But coming in at my number 1 is the 5th and final season of Stranger Things, as the crew gets prepared for their final battle against Vecna, as well as finding out the secrets of the Upside Down. Look, man, I am a day one A1 Stranger Things fan. I was there first night of the premiere, and I have been hooked ever since. Yes, there's been long times between seasons. These kids are now just as old as the adults, or at least they look it. Forget all that, man. The Duffel brothers, they be cooking, man. I am so excited for this 5th and final season, man. I don't know about y'all, but I know it's been some time. It's only been 3 years. But season 4, my personal favorite of the season so far, was so damn good. I don't know if y'all remember Vecna. That man, Freddy Krueger, was on another level, and I'm really excited to see what they do with Vecna. Also, there's the rumors that Eddie Munson may or may not be his lackey, coming back from the dead. We got Elle, we got the whole crew coming and fighting for Hawkins, and there's a time jump, so it's going to maybe give us a better understanding why they're, a little bit older now because time has passed, but I'm excited, man. I'm expecting some tears. I'm expecting some laughs. I'm expecting some epic moments, and I'm really hopeful that they're going to stick the landing, because if they stick the landing, this is going to be it's going to go down as one of the greatest shows of all time. 4 seasons in, it's personally, in my personal opinion, one of the greatest shows ever. If they stick the landing, it will definitely solidify itself as that. So I'm hopeful, man, that the Duffer Brothers are cooking, and we're going to get a satisfying conclusion to Stranger Things, because we deserve it, man. After all this time and waiting for this season to come, it's finally here, and I'm expecting something special. So that is my list, my top 10 most anticipated shows of the new year. Now, of course, this is just my list. There's probably plenty of shows that's going to be coming out that I haven't even heard of that might end up in my favorite TV shows of the year, but I just haven't seen in trailers or heard anything about it yet. But the list I just gave you all, I'm pretty confident that those are not only going to be, good shows, but hopefully great shows, from new shows and returning shows. And I'm excited for all the stuff we got coming for the new year. So if you are watching this, thank you so much. I am, this is my final kind of the series. I did my top 10 movies of 2024, my top 10 shows of 2024, my most anticipated movies of 2025. And of course, we got this. And also I have other things like my favorite horror films of last year, my underrated films of last year. So I'm looking forward to a great year for movies and shows. And listen, I've been saying it on all the other previous videos, I'm going to say it here. The goal this year is to hit 100,000 subscribers. And I can't do that without you all's help. So starting the trend now in this video, like, share, comment. And if this is your first time watching one of my videos, hopefully this won't be the last one. Stick around, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification, because I plan on covering all the stuff that we just talked about in today's videos, but also a ton of movies. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Happy New Year. I'm excited for this new year, and I'm looking forward to some great things this year. So with all that being said, you all are awesome. Stay safe, and I'll catch you all on the next video.